Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And I had to start with this from David Schwartz. He says 10x times, and you see it right here. And right away, the people were coming out and saying, that's it, XRP is going to 10x from here. Other people were saying, no, you got to take $2 plus, times it by 10, then times it by 10 again. 10x times. Joel Katz, David Schwartz cannot post anything without the Riddlers coming out and saying that David's calling for this or calling for that. David Schwartz just put out a post the other day. He said, if anyone ties anything I say or post to crypto, you are getting blocked. So let's see how many people get blocked. Think bigger. Remember when Uphold was saying XRP just hit $1,000? What are you tweeting? Now they're saying that analysts are divided on XRP's potential value in 2025. With predictions currently ranging from $3 to $7. What are your personal price targets for XRP? And what developments do you believe will drive these valuations? Well, we are going into alt season, and it's going to be absolutely epic. But this alt season is going to be something different than all the previous cycles. There's so much momentum building for XRP. RLUSD just went live. We haven't even got any value from that yet. Ripple versus SEC coming to an end. Trump, pro-crypto Congress. Then you start to look at ISO next year. Ripple, possible IPO. All happening in a short time frame. So where's XRP going from here? Conservatively, like I always tell you, $27 to $35. If I'm going to be a moon boy like everyone else out there, then I'm saying we're going to 3 digits. There's a good chance, though, that utility could start driving the price of XRP early 2025. If XRP was to go live on all of these Ripple rails, that's it. It's game over for XRP. Everybody would be priced out very quick if that happens. Would you retire from work if XRP hit $100? You know, I see these posts all day long, and a lot of people say, well, if it hits $100, I'm a multimillionaire. Other people are saying they would have 500 grand. Other people are like, well, that gives me $200,000 because people are holding different amounts of XRP. For some people, $100 might be enough, and then they could retire. It also depends on the person's age, because I think things are changing. Everything costs more today than it did just 10 years ago, and 10 years before that. Gordon says, $1 million doesn't go very far these days, unless you want to move to a third world country. $10 million is the new starting point. Once you get there, you can start making things happen. I don't know if I fully agree with that. Now, this is based in the United States. Take notice, he said, unless you want to move to a third world country. But this could also be the EU, the UK. But look at it like this. It depends on age. If somebody is, say, in their 50s, they could live comfortably on $1 million, most likely for the rest of their life. If they're in their 40s, maybe it takes $2 million. 30s, $4 million. 20s, most likely $10 million. Because inflation is continuing to rise. Now, if we were to go to a gold-backed currency here in the United States and the EU, the UK, and so on, then this would change. Because I think then things would get reevaluated. We got to see what the future brings. But $1 million does not go very far these days. I mean, a lot of people, if they cash out $1 million, they're going to buy, well, first they got to pay the crypto tax, unless Trump does away with the taxes on American-made cryptocurrencies. So right off the top, maybe 10 to 400 grand, 100 to 400 grand is gone, depending how long you've been holding your XRP. Then everybody says, I'm going to buy a house. So a house in the United States, say maybe it's just a 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom house, most likely you're looking around $200,000, depending on where the house is, because that also varies as well. People also said, I'm going to go and buy a new car. So you get the house, you get the car, you pay the crypto tax. What do you have left? Maybe $150,000 to $300,000, depending on how much the car and the house cost. You have to have a plan if you're going to cash out your crypto. That's why sometimes it's better to wait for that passive income off of your XRP. XRP gains haters more than any other coin. Why? Can they not see the value in an order book, DEX paired with AMMs for tokenized asset trading? It's a very simple concept. And you see, the Bankers Coin Association and early FUD on Bitcoin talk forums may have played a role. Also, Larson funding to change the code Greenpeace Plus Kamala's campaign, which didn't help with the optics. Personally, I have a few gripes, mostly to do with the sidechain model of scaling. The early days, Bitcoin maxis always fudded on XRP. They always called it the banker's coin. They always said it's centralized. Ripple's holding way too much XRP. But now here we are in 2024, and Ripple has rails set up all around the world. Tokenization is about to pick up a lot of momentum on the XRP ledger. RLUSD is now live. The Rippleverse SEC case coming to an end. Everything going forward looks great for Ripple and XRP. But here's what's going on now. The reason that all these Bitcoin maxis are hating on XRP is because now they're scared of it. Now they know things are starting to happen. Unpopular opinion. Your crypto startup doesn't need more engineers. It needs storytellers, community builders, growth masters. Code doesn't sell itself. Never has, never will. Code does sell itself if it can be utilized to solve a real-world problem. If your cryptocurrency has an actual use case, it doesn't need storytellers. And that's what you got with Bitcoin now, is a whole bunch of storytellers and people hyping it up. But some people forgot the storyline, like Jenny Johnson, talking about the distraction. Take a listen.
Bitcoin is the greatest distraction from the greatest disruption that is coming to financial services.
So did she just forget the script when she said that? I think she was being honest. She knows it's a distraction. You also got to remember, Franklin Templeton, which she is the CEO of, also has a Bitcoin ETF. I think she's planning on tokenizing that on the Stellar network. Same way that BlackRock is going to end up tokenizing their Bitcoin ETF. Bitcoin is going to become tokenized over time, and it's going to run on all these other networks because you cannot transact in Bitcoin. It's way too expensive and it's way too slow. But if you spend it over the XRP ledger, all of a sudden you could send that Bitcoin very cheap in a matter of seconds. But you are holding the disruption when you're holding XRP. And then I don't know what's going on with Michael Saylor. He's now urged Jeff Bezos to spend $600 million on Bitcoin. That looks like desperation to me. And now we also have Bitcoin maxis saying that David Schwartz had nothing to do with Bitcoin. So were Arthur Brito and David Schwartz Bitcoin developers? Yes, they were. Arthur worked with Stephen Pear and Perrin with Ryan around 2011 to February 2012 to create a proof of work, Old Ripple. Arthur was a big supporter of Bitcoin. Jed told Tiffany that he met Arthur in a Bitcoin meetup. David appears as one of the Bitcoin code contributors. David optimized the code for mining pool applications in 2011. In 2005, Ripple and Bitcoin domains were both using the same IP. Conclusion: Arthur and David were Bitcoin developers. They're trying to say that people that are working on XRP were never working on Bitcoin now. They're trying to change up the narrative. They're trying to break Bitcoin away from XRP because XRP holders know it was a beta test coin, and we are holding the actual Bitcoin. We're holding what Bitcoin hoped to be, but it just never happened. And then Michael Saylor goes on to say that the US government should own the majority of Bitcoin. Think about that. And you know what I noticed? I think a lot of the OG Bitcoin holders, they're gone. They used to be all over Twitter. And even when you argued with the Bitcoin maxis back then, they actually made some sense. You know, they always said, well, the reason we hold Bitcoin is because we are anti-government, anti-establishment. But even Michael Saylor is changing that narrative. And right away, these new Bitcoin holders, they're like, that's so bullish. We want the US government to create a reserve for Bitcoin. That'll pump our bags. But OG Bitcoin holders, they didn't care if something pumped their bags. They were about what was right and what was wrong. And when the US government takes control of Bitcoin, they will end Bitcoin, being ahead of a CBDC. And I still think the US government is going to have a central bank digital currency, even under Trump. They're just going to call it something else. But the reason that all this hype is happening is because of this right here. I kept telling you, the 4-year cycle is going to end. This comes from Smoke. The institutional conversation around crypto at the moment, the end of the 4-year cycle. Institutions are reshaping the crypto market narrative, moving away from the traditional 4-year cycle. This cycle, driven by Bitcoin halvings and retail speculation, no longer defines the broader market as institutions focus on macro trends, regulatory shifts, and real-world adoption. While retail investors wait for familiar patterns, institutions are driving new strategies around stablecoins, tokenized assets, and blockchain infrastructure. Sticking to outdated narratives risks leaving you behind, chasing trends that no longer align with the market's future. Falling behind means missing out on key opportunities, misallocating capital, and becoming unprepared for the market's next evolution. To stay ahead, focus on understanding the institutional perspective, which prioritizes on long-term value and adoption over short-term cycles. Like I kept telling you, once we get institutional adoption, that will lead to utility for these utility-driven cryptocurrencies, which utility will then end the 4-year cycle. It's going to happen. Everybody's already looking at 2028. 2028 might not even happen. There might not even be a cycle in 2028. We could go on a massive utility run that lasts for years. Nobody knows how long a utility run lasts or how high the price can go on these utility-driven cryptocurrencies. Like I always told you, market cap does not matter. Previous cycles do not matter. Utility is what matters. Utility is going to drive up the price of these cryptocurrencies like XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR. That's what's going to change these cryptocurrencies. You know, everybody is always falling for what happened in the past. We are crypto investors, and the future is already shifting. Wait until the institutions get here and they open up passive income. That's going to change everything. That's going to change your whole outlook on selling your crypto. You're going to have people in the bear market, when the price isn't moving anymore, talking about how they're getting monthly checks off of their crypto. They're not even going to care that the price is moving up or down at that moment, because they're focused on the long-term plan. They're focused on the generational wealth plan, where they hand their crypto down to their children, and then their children hand it down to your grandchildren. And by then, XRP will be a 5-digit asset. It could happen much sooner. Everybody was always saying it's going to happen in 2030. I think the 2030 idea is now the 2028 idea. Anything that you were expecting to happen in 2030, it's going to happen by the time 2028 gets here. Even quantum computing, which is another major threat to Bitcoin. You see what I'm saying? The Bitcoin maxis are terrified of what you are holding, because you're holding the future. They're holding the past. They're holding the distraction. You are holding the disruption. But until it all happens, stay patient, stay positive, and we will get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.